All right, in this video, what I'm going to do is show how to convert our login application, which looked like this, to one that relies on the React library. The React library is a library built by Facebook, and so this assignment is geared toward learning that library. So just to recap what the login page was all about, this login application, basically of a username and password, we submit that and we load another page called Click Me, and in this page we hit this Click Me button and it records the number of times that the user has clicked the button. And when we log out, we go to this login page. And if we try to go to Click Me, so there's two basic pages. If we try to go to Click Me directly, we get redirected to the login page. And if we're logged in already, and we go to the main page, it redirects us to the Click Me page. So we sort of keep our state. So here we have two scripts, the clickme.php and index.php. That was the in this login, index.php, clickme.php. So what we're going to do with this React version of this application is to have a single HTML file. And we load that one HTML file, and then we see the login page. We log in, and then we see the Click Me button, the log out button, but it's still, we didn't log a new, the browser doesn't load a separate document to render for those other states. All the various states of the application are managed inside a single HTML file, so to speak. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. And what I want to do is talk a little bit about this React library, what this is all about. And so let's just dig into this. On the main page here, it's pretty good. They give a nice introduction to what this is all about. But I gotta say, I don't see what we need right off the bat. I've been playing around with this, so I know how to jump around at this point. But it's a little tough to get going. Let me, there we go. This looks, no, that's not it either. I'm going to look at this tutorial here. And I've been through this tutorial. It's pretty long and complicated. I'm going to leave that out. And I'm just going to show you how to get this application, what React does, okay, and how to set it up. Of course, there's many different ways of setting it up, but I'm going to show you a good starting point, I believe. So let's go ahead and create a new file here called index.html. And inside here, I'm going to paste in that code. So here we go. This is called a React tutorial. Well, we're going to change that. This is the login application, the Click Me application. We'll call it that. This is the Click Me application using React. So these are this is the basic React library right there. It's in a file called react.js, and we're getting that from this, loading it from this this host here. And this is called a content delivery network. And it's nice that this is available for us to use for free. So we just can, we don't have to serve the React library file from our own web server. We can rely on this free to use content delivery network. So that's nice. And here's another piece of the library. It's called React-DOM. See right here. And this is, so essentially the library comes in these two separate pieces. And I'm going to show you one way of incorporating React in the application where the processing of the special React syntax happens on the client side, which is somewhat convenient to do during development, but it's not. It doesn't make use of you know this speed potential that you can get by building your compiling your React application on the server side. And but because we're using Cloud9, it's a little tricky to set that up. It's possible to do. I was researching that just a moment ago, and I see that it's a bit tricky to set that up. But that's in the long run. You don't want to use this technique here where you compile React on the client side, in the browser and user's browser. You want to pre-compile your React-based application on the server side just to cut out that processing step to make the whole application initialize faster. So well, anyway, without any more discussion on that, there's another library here, browser.min.js. This allows us to use a special called JSX syntax, and it makes it easier to write React applications and to make your code look more readable and more compact. Now this is a code to load the jQuery, and we're not going to use jQuery, so I'm going to take that out. And here's some code to load another library called Mark. That's to implement the markup or the markdown language. I'm going to take that out. We don't need that. Actually, I'm going to convert this. What I want to do is use the JavaScript, the Ajax library that we've been using. I'm going to put that in there. So we're going to load that Ajax code right there. See that? Source equals Ajax. And let's get that. Actually, here it is right there. See, there's the Ajax code right there. So we just copy that. So I'm going to copy from the login the Ajax code. Let's just drop it right in there. I think that's the most recent version. Let me take a look at that. I think that looks pretty good. I think that's the most recent version I've been using. Yeah. So we're going to use that. And you're welcome to modify that, by the way. That's, open up that one. You can improve this if you can think of ways of improving it. I can think of ways to modify it for sure. But this is working pretty good for me right now. Basically, this Ajax code is a function. Here it is, Ajax. And you pass in a request object. That's an object which is a JavaScript object that's converted into a JSON string sent to the server. The server is responsible to convert the JSON string into a PHP object. And then the PHP code will process that request that it gets, the data that it gets, and then generate a response. And the response will be in the form of a JSON string. So when our response handler is called, and it's called down here. This is the reference to the response handler. When the response handler is called, I'll show you where it's called right there. That's one place it's called. When it's called, we pass to it a response object, and the response object comes here. It's from the response text that the PHP script sends back to us, and we parse it. We consider it to be a JSON string, so the PHP script must return a JSON string. We parse it and get this response object. We pass the response object to our response handler right here, and that's the function that we pass in here to handle the response. Anyway, you can think about that and tinker with that. So we'll load that here. Now we've got the whole application. So React is for building applications using components, React components. And the whole application is going to be inserted into this div element here, and with the ID equaling content. And I'm going to take out this stuff. And once we define this content, then what we can do is load our React application code. So I'm going to call that index.js. Now look, here the type, the script element here specifies a type of text slash Babel. And so if it was text slash JavaScript, then the browser would say, oh, this is JavaScript, I'll just execute it when I load it, I'll run it. But we're giving it a type that the browser doesn't know. And so the browser would just simply load this and this asset and leave it around. And it was actually, I don't know if the browser will load it, but it'll leave the script element alone. Yeah, the browser will not load this directly because it doesn't know what to do with this type. It might still load this because it's got an SRC attribute. So it might load that and leave it available as a chunk of data that the script can access. But anyway, what happens is when this library is loaded, it waits for the document to initialize. And then after initializing, it looks for script elements that have that type. When it finds that type, it then processes the code that's in this SRC, identified by this SRC attribute. So it'll basically convert the code, the React JSX code that's in this file, convert it into ordinary JavaScript, and then run that JavaScript. So that's how that works. Well, let's watch it run. So we'll need to create another file called index.js. So let's go ahead and do that. And this doesn't always work that well. So I'll have to do it up here, new file. This is index.js. And that did not work. Let's do it down here. Index.js. There we go. Let's see, I did work on this. Let me look at this project. I called it JSX. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rename this to JSX just to be consistent. And let's try to get this thing working here. There we go. JSX, just to change the extension, just so we know it's not JavaScript. It is JSX syntax. So I'm going to pass it through the JSX parser here to get it to build right. All right, so what does this thing do? Well, this thing here, here's the React web page. I'm going to go back to the main page here. And here it is. Here's some hello code. Let's take a look at that. So what we're doing here is define a React class right there. And so the React class, we create it by calling the create class function of this global reference React. And when we call create class function, we pass in an object here to that contains functions in it, such as render in this case, which are used as which become part of the class that's created. So this class, this React class that we're creating, will have a render method defined as we have it here. Now, when the create class function returns, it returns a reference to the created class. We store that reference here. Now this is important. This is the name of a user-defined React class, and we need to use the camel case for this. Well, we need to have the first letter has to be in uppercase. So hello message must be in uppercase H. So we can see that that works there. Now, once you define a React class, you then use it, and you use it using the JSX syntax. You use it in an expression like that. So it looks like, it looks like XML, right, or HTML. So you have the name of the class, which is hello message, which is based on this variable here. And then we have some attribute data that we pass into it. So we're passing in, a name string. Now, this whole thing, so basically, this is a reference to the user-defined React class that we create here. Here, we're telling the system that we want to create an instance of this React class, and that becomes a React element. So this thing generates or defines a React element, which is an instance of the hello message React class. Now this React element is passed to the render method of this React DOM object. And the React DOM object and the React object, those two objects are defined here. The React object is defined in this library. The React DOM object is defined in this other library component. Now, you can see here this warnings popping up. These are warnings generated by the Cloud9 editor. And if you hover over that warning symbol there, it says React is not defined, please fix, or add global React as a comment to tell the editor that React is a global variable which will be defined when the application runs. So don't show a warning anymore. And so we're going to do that. We're going to turn off that warning. So it's going to be global React. See that? Now watch this. It shuts off that warning. So what we're going to do is get rid of the other warning or the other global variable that React libraries include. So it should be React DOM. I don't know why that, let me save the file. Global mount node, oh, I see. This is also not defined. So this warning is for the global, is for the mount node. But the mount node is, that's the node where this, where this React component or element, so I'm going to use the word element, React element and component interchangeably. This refers to the HTML element in the web page where the React element should be inserted. Now, the mount node, this is the mount node right here. It's this div element. So basically, want to put, the app. We call it maybe the app elements just drop in there. The app components, we'll say app components. They just get dropped in there. So that was just to show you where it goes. So what we've got to do is look that up. So the ID is content. So basically this, this mount node, and they use the word node because, the web page is viewed as a DOM, a document object model. It's a tree of nodes, of elements, like H1 elements, paragraph elements, div elements. Some elements create other elements. So you get this tree of parents, including children, and so on. So it's a tree of nodes. So the node that we want to mount our React component into is we're referring to as mount node. So we use this function called get element by ID. This is built into the browser. So this is a standard function that's available to anybody working in a browser. Get element by ID. Now, why is that an X? Unexpected token mount node. I got an uppercase V there. This should be a lowercase v. There we go. Now we are defining this in the global namespace here. So this is polluting the global namespace, by the way. So we can get rid of that pollution. So this is going into the global namespace. There's a couple ways of getting rid of the pollution. We could put everything inside of a function, and then call the function. But another way to do it simply is just let's not declare a variable. Let's just take this expression and drop it right here. So now we don't have an intermediate variable that is referring to that. And to make this more readable, let's go ahead and break this down here into 2 lines. That's line 1. Well, that's the first argument. There's the second argument. And I'll just drop this closing parenthesis down there. All right, so render takes 2 arguments. There they are. This application's ready to run. Let's take a look. So it's React, and I've got this running already. And let's take a look at that. So it's React. There it is. Hello, John. That's it right there. See? We're passing in this attribute John as the name. And then this hello message component, when it renders to this. It's a div that says hello, this.properties.name. I see this name here comes through this into this component through an object named props or properties. So we can change that. We can say hello Alice. So a different name will come in through here. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to push that over to there. So I reload that. We get hello Alice. Now I want to tell you that it's important to have your JavaScript console open here at all times. And let me try to do that, and it's not somehow working on me. There we go. I don't know why that took so long. So because there's going to be a lot of debugging. Let's mess this up somehow. Let's create hello message X. Let's see what happens. Well, we make a mistake. We reload this. Uncaught reference error. Hello message X is not defined. Now, I want to show you. See right here, this React tab. I got this tab because I installed the React plugin into Chrome. I'm using Chrome. And I probably should make a note of that here in the, I call this alt, but I'm going to change that to React. All right, so the name of this assignment will be React. Because I have an old assignment which I'm rejecting because it's too big and too complicated. And let's see that. And this one is trying to ease up a little bit here. I prepared for everybody to do this assignment, but it's gigantic. And so I'm going to try to do a simpler assignment. And this is the React Dev Tools for Chrome here. This is what I want to, this is the React Dev Tools for Chrome. I'm going to copy that link address there. So you look at this. This is very handy. I installed this in Chrome. I don't know what's available for Firefox or Safari or whatever browser you're using. I don't know what it's available for other browsers, but for Chrome, this is very helpful. So I'm going to add that link to the assignment. We call it alt. Now I'm going to change the name to React. And you may want to install the React plugin for Chrome if you use Chrome for development. I don't know what's available for other browsers. I got to tell you, this helps a lot, and I don't want to force people to use Chrome, but this really, I believe, makes working with React a lot better. All right, so we see here that we've got this error message coming up. Hello, message X is not defined, so we're going to go back and fix that. Save, reload. Got that working again. And you know, React is this page has got lots of stuff in there. This is all very useful. All of this. I recommend that you read this, experiment with it, and dig into it. I mean, it's just a fantastic library. This is just a masterpiece. You know, it's a work of genius. You know, all the other many of the JavaScript libraries are works of genius. I mean, Angular, Ember, you know, and that big list. I think I gave a link to it. These are all incredible resources. These, here it is, JavaScript frameworks. This article here, you might want to read this. Look at these, all these frameworks. I mean, they're just masterpieces. And Angular is the most popular one. It's been out the longest. It's from Google. React came out more recently, about 2013. It's from Facebook. Facebook uses it. They use it for Instagram too, which is owned by Facebook. And so this thing is fast. It's responsive. That's one of the benefits of React. It's got a very nice design. It's optimized for speed. So you're going to have a complicated single-page web application that responds very quickly to user input. That's one of the benefits of React, and it's used in you know, Facebook's Facebook's application code. So that's impressive about React. Ember, this one I'm very interested in. I want to dig into that. That sounds really interesting. And all of these, Aurelia, you know, Meteor, I don't know much about them. Backbone, I've seen this mentioned several times and started to glance at that at one point. Polymer, I've started to glance at that as well. I can't say much about it. Knockout, View, Mercury, and there's others too. This isn't all of them. So these are fantastic tools. So, but we got to pick one. We got to pick one. We can't do them all. So we're going to look at React. I think React is a good bet because of its backing by Facebook. It's more recent than Angular, and although Angular is more widely used, there's more applications written in Angular. I think React is a good bet because I like the speed at which it runs on the client. It's zippy. From what I understand, I haven't tested that myself, but you know, that's based, and it makes sense if you read about how React is designed and built. It makes sense that it would be fast. So that is we have our basic application written here in React. I'm going to pause the video at this point and start a new one because I want to break these up into chunks.